we're going for all the weirdness today. Cup of tea in the garden rather than the greenhouse. It's because I can't get in the greenhouse at the minute. There's stuff piled up at the door. I'll get that sorted and I'll get you in there in a second. However, it's been a wee while. It's been a few weeks. And I know some of you were worried, but basically, I just needed a wee break. You don't always feel super creative or super chirpy and want to be in front of a camera. And I decided that I was just going to give myself a break. And if I didn't feel like it, I wasn't going to bother. But, obviously stuff was happening in the garden because, time doesn't stand still. And I do have some footage of all the stuff that happened. So let me catch you up. I suppose the main thing I should warn you about. This garden's quite windy. And it's Scotland. We get a lot of rain, a lot of wind, a lot of rubbish weather. But we're getting more and more storms these days. And when I say a storm, I mean something that lasts for an extended period of time with those high winds. And a wee while ago, we all got hammered with Storm Flores.
Peekaboo.
Are you hiding from the wind? Are you?
We just fixed your blanket. But apparently we need to make a little hobbit hole.
Weird name for a storm, but there you go. It was different for us this time. We always have storms, we always have high wind, and as you know, we rarely have anything overly bad. I mean, a wee while ago, the gate behind the shed got ripped off, Kate's wood got blown about, there was a wee bit of damage. This time, however, guys, there was enough small damage, no structural, we didn't lose any damage to the house, nothing, just little things, but there was enough of it that it just really got to me, and I was like, and that was when I stopped filming because I was like, I just need a break now. So what happened then? And it was a wee while ago, remember, so most things have been fixed now, or not fixed but dealt with. There's one last thing, I'll tell you about it in a second, but there was damage like the dahlias. My dahlias out front are huge, and we've got them in massive pots, making, if you like, a dahlia wall. Now, the slightest wind, they're toppled over because they're like sails, which means they're not looking their best this year because they are getting hammered every single time. So what we did was we brought them into the garden, over by the compost bins because it's a bit more sheltered there, and we had to store them there for a week and then get them back out again. They've been blown over again multiple times since, but we got that done for the storm and get all that done. Then, trees. The trees at the greenhouse got blown over and one of the pots got smashed. Now, those pots aren't cheap and they're heavy and there's a live plant in it. So it was all that thing of, we need to get another pot, we need to get the tree planted up. And then I couldn't find a matching pot, so I've got one that's similar looking, a slightly different tone, and it's plastic rather than terracotta, but it'll do for just now to keep the plant alive. Okay, so it was things like that. Now, the last thing I'm going to mention about Storm Flores was a bit of a kicker for me. So do you remember then, like maybe 2 videos back, I was going to say the last time we spoke, but it's 2 videos back, I was telling you guys about a wee thing I was testing about cutting open all the flowers on my squash and courgettes to see if it would help, if I could kickstart the whole pollination thing. Now, it did help. I started to get loads of squash and courgettes on the plants, and I was getting really, really excited until Flores. And basically, their plants with like big, huge leaves, they actually got mangled. So the courgette took the worst of it, but we basically lost everything that was on the plants. Well, I say lost. Some of it was of a decent size, so we then just used it. But a lot of the smaller ones meant we lost them because they weren't ready yet. And that kind of got to me a bit because it felt like things were really just starting to take off. Now, I did go and have a good tidy up and try and bring it back. Sleeves and gloves. Good job I've got so many channel hoodies. Nearly pad. This is a bit I've been trying to just ignore and not even look at. So, as you know, things had just started being fabulous here. There were lots of really good looking bits and bobs on here that we were harvesting, or there were some cracking big courgettes that we were getting ready to harvest, and we were hopeful a bit more. Alas, the wind blew just about everything off the plants and snapped so much of the branches and stuff, and as you can see, yeah, it's really annoying. So a bit of a tidy up and we'll see where we stand. Okay, so it's only once I'm actually up close to the plants that I'm finding a lot of what initially looks like it's okay, you know, green leaves and stems. Once you're up close, you're actually seeing that there's damage right close to the stem of the plant. So it's just a matter of time before those start to rot. So may as well take them off. This one's the worst. This one actually got snapped right down at the base, so everything's just down back. I don't think I'm going to have anything to save here, but we'll try. Alas, don't know why. I have no reason for you, but a couple of weeks ago, the squashes just gave up the ghost. I came out one morning to find them completely dead. I've no explanation for why, but that means they're all gone. Although not the end of the world, because we are mid-September now. You know, we are wrapping up the season. I'm going to go over today and harvest my last tomatoes. Although, to be fair, I've still got loads. I kind of forgot it was the end of season and have left them. So I'm going to go and just get all that done today. But let's do the good, the happy then, because that was a bit of a... I wasn't always in the best headspace. I was getting frustrated. But I got other stuff done too. So, I mean, let's talk about some of the things we've been doing this year. The onions. So my whole thing this year was I had really sucky germination in the seeds. So I grudgingly went back to sets. But I was trying heat-treated sets because I had been told they bolt way less. So I got them planted in spring. Do you want to know how it went? Mixed bag. Go way back, start of the year, and I had a nightmare with my seeds. Oh, so my first thing for this year was I didn't grow Ailsa Craig because I decided I kept getting enormous onions, which were fabulous, but it got to the point where it was just too much. Whenever I was trying to cook, I couldn't just use an onion, so I ended up with like onions, sort of like half an onion in the fridge, all that kind of thing. And the freezer was full of chopped onions and all sorts. So I thought I was going to grow a smaller variety this year, something kitchen onion size for cooking. So that was the first thing. So changed the seeds, but I had zero germination. Zero, not a single one. It was just awful for any of the white onions. So quite late in, so I think it was about March or whatever in spring, I got some sets to put out. It was the first time I'd done the sets that you can actually plant in spring. And apparently they're heat treated, so they're way less likely to bolt. And I was hearing lots of really positive stuff from lots of you guys saying you use them all the time, nothing ever bolts, it's great. So yeah, here we go. Almost all of them bolted. I think I maybe had 2, 3 that didn't bolt. So as you can see, most of them have now flopped. The ones that haven't have ones that had bolted, and it's a really thick stem. That's why it's still upright. But also, they're really, really small. So Now the other thing, the red onions, awful. They're like spring onions. Okay, let's lay them out. So I've got about 3 that the size of onions I was aiming for. Everything else is a bit smaller. But looking on the bright side, I've got all of these onions. There was no white rot or any problems. The red onions are just a joke. I think maybe they were too close to that edge of the bed, and I think it was blocking the light a bit, and onions need light. So it's maybe been that, I think, because normally my red onions do really well. So yeah, not impressed with the spring sets. Not any better for me than the winter sets. But maybe it's just me. But there we go. So I'm going back to Ailsa Craig. So there you go. There were no prize-winning onions at the show this year, unfortunately. But the show was brilliant fun because a couple of things. I got to hang out with Sandra from About the Garden and Mags from My Country Garden. And it was kind of cool because they're going to join in with me on the whole spring bulb show, and they're growing daffodils and stuff with me, which is awesome fun because it's always good to have gardening buddies with you. But they came along and Mags even entered the show and romped it. She basically walked away with the novice category.
Goes to Mags Warrington. Mags is here, so...
Thank you.
6th first. She did amazing. But I just had such fun for the weekend hanging about with those guys. It was brilliant. One thing that kind of, as we say in Scotland, it ripped my knitting a little bit. Kate walked away with a massive big trophy.
What? It was dirty.
So that's the weekend over, your first ever show weekend.
Yep.
You've got a gin and tonic. Is that a bad sign?
Well, I put some blackberries in it because, you know, they're quite special.
Special blackberries. What's this?
I won a prize for my fruit.
Whoa, your first year. Whoa.
Cheers, everyone.
And as she likes to remind me, it's bigger than my trophy. Yeah. So I didn't win anything. Kate got a trophy. To the greenhouse then. While I sort it so I can meet you in there. Peppers. Flipping. It's that autumn job. A wee bit earlier than I expected to be this year. But as you can see, it's a lot less having to flip because I've not got all the tomatoes in here. I pretty much grew all the tomatoes in the garden this year. However, this is not sad this year. I have had heaps of peppers. Quite a lot of it has been very, very recent. I had loads of issues at the start of the season with sunscorch. Second one today. But it does mean, right at this minute, the fridge is absolutely chock full of peppers. And this afternoon, I'm going to be chopping them all up and putting them in the freezer. So this is not sad. But the reasoning being... Let me put that there. I've had a couple of plants have issues. So I had to harvest early. Because you'll see it if you come over this side. But just branches, for some reason, dying back. And of course the fruit on them dying. Never worked out what the problem was. Other than I'd had some real issues with aphids this year. If you're not a regular on this channel, peppers, these bell peppers just seem to be the plant that attracts the aphids for me. Don't have any problems with them with tomatoes, anything like that. But if I have bell peppers or aubergines, bang, aphids. So it's one of those things, it's just, I accept it, it's part of what goes on in my garden. However, the other thing which always happens because kind the North peppers are so big. I always lose branches because of the weight, and I always, every year, don't support them early enough and I lose branches. And then I think I've supported them really well, but for some reason one of them's not as well as I thought and I lose branches. And that's happened here. I've got a branch I snapped, so I'm harvesting. It's almost ripe. But again, I've said this to you guys before. You can eat bell peppers at any stage. You don't have to wait until they're fully ripe. So you can be harvesting them when they're green, and I do. We eat a lot of peppers that are green. We don't wait till they're all red. Okay. So now that that is done, I'm just taking the ones that I'm looking at and thinking, yeah, that looks like one that's a decent size for using. I'll just chop it up. Use it in the house. It's not bad. Hello. Oh, so we're in here. As you can see, it's quite empty now. It's also quite messy. We have a few wee things in here. I'm not doing the big winter grown in the greenhouse thing this year. I decided I'm just going to have some chill and use my greenhouse and keep some of my plants alive that I can overwinter, like I did last year. But also, Kate has adopted part of my greenhouse, shall we say. These are Kate's auricula, which are very weird and flowering at the moment. They shouldn't be flowering, and they shouldn't flower to spring. But anywho's, these are Kate's auricula for the show. Kate's going to be entering these in the show next spring. This is her exciting thing she loves. She's always loved auricula and primula and primrose, you know, that family. So these are hers for the show. I'm growing some cuttings from St John's wort for a neighbour. So it's a big shrub we have in the garden that they love. I took some cuttings, grown that on. That's a dahlia branch that got snapped and I've got it rooted. And I went round and just grabbed some vines from the garden from all the stuff that I had self-seeded. Because I figure I know I can keep them alive in here over winter, and that gives me some mature plants to start off with in spring much quicker. And I've got 2 wee trays here of just some cut and come again salad going. So there's nothing exciting in here, but I think that's the thing. You've seen my garden's just garden like all of you guys, and I go through the ups and the downs of the season just like you guys do. I have successes. I won't say failures because I don't think you can fail at gardening. I have things that really annoy me and don't work, just like you guys do. It's just the way it is. But yeah, so that's what you've missed for the last like 3 or 4 weeks. And as you can tell, it's not been super exciting, so you've not really properly missed anything. Okay, very, very last thing then. I have some things coming up. I need to get my head in gear and get sorted. I need to get the greenhouse proper cleaned and set up for winter. I don't know if I'll do a video on that because I have done it with you guys so many times now. And what else do I need to get done? Oh yeah, the big thing. A couple of weeks now and I'll be getting all the daffodils plunged. So daffodils planted for the spring show. It's going to be the start of some fun. So all the guys will be doing their videos and we're going to have a workshop, all of that kind of thing. So let me know, are you guys doing this along with us? Are you plunging or are you just growing in the garden? Let me know so I know what you guys need. And especially if you are a Scottish viewer doing this, let me know. Let me know if I will see you at the Cali. That bit, right? That's that bit. So yeah, I'm just doing this in my head and I've got a list and I'm like, go through them. Catch up. But finally, what I'm going to do then is, for fun, because obviously you haven't seen a lot that has been going on as we go. So I'm going to give you this. That is last year at this time. Okay, now there's 2 videos there for you. That one's just the garden and you can go and see what it looked like at this time and compare it. But that one is from the harvest and some ideas of what to do with your harvest, because you guys always ask. And if you want to see the whole greenhouse cleaning video, that one there. I'm going to leave you for now, and I will see you next time. And I have no idea what it'll be about. See ya.